And we are live. Welcome, mystery and thriller fans. I'm your on-air host, Sara DiVello, and I am so excited to welcome tonight, live from Connecticut, debut author Elise Hart, Kipness, here to give us the inside scoop on Lights Out. Elise, welcome to Mystery and Thriller Mavens. Tell us about this book.
I am so excited to be here, Sara. And before I get into my book, I just have to say I love your book. And I am so honored to be on your show because I am the biggest fan of yours. And I mean, honestly, anyone who's listening, I'm sure they're all your fans and they already are, but amazing, amazing. Like kudos, kudos, kudos to you.
Oh my God,
You are
Elise, that
awesome.
is beyond kind of you. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to finally host you, woman, in this exclusive sneak peek 1 week before the book comes out. She's going to take all your questions live, spill the tea on what it's like to be in the top of Madison Square Garden in the locker room. Oh la la, we got a lot to dish. Elise, tell us about Lights Out.
Sure, sure. Well, as you said, I used to be a sports reporter. I was worked for Fox Sports Network. So my main character in Lights Out is a sports reporter, but where she's what I like to call a way cooler version of myself. So where I am a soccer mom besides a soccer reporter, a sports reporter, my main character is a gold medal soccer player where I chase my three labradoodles around the yard. She chases bad guys through the hidden tunnels of Madison Square Garden. Her demons are so much more interesting and darker and twistier than mine. You know, mine are like the mundane variety, like nothing major. So it's about her, but she's a much, more interesting version of me. And then an NBA player in Greenwich, Connecticut, she lives in Greenwich, Connecticut, is murdered in his mansion. And Kate Green, who is my main character, is best friends with the widow. And the widow becomes the main suspect. So Kate knows there was trouble in the marriage between Yvette, her best friend, and Kurt, but she's like, no way is Yvette a murderer. So Kate goes to prove that her friend is innocent. Meanwhile, Kate's whole world is exploding. She's been suspended from her job. The gossip columns, the New York Post page 6 is like all up in her business and, slamming her. Her teenage kids are having big issues of their own. And then her estranged father, who just happens to be an NYPD detective, is assigned to the case. So, what can go wrong?
What could go wrong indeed? And Elise Hart Kipnis is going to tell us all the ways this can go so wrong, making the tension so right. And I can't wait to get into every twisty, delicious, thrillerish detail. But first, I just want to welcome everyone. So we are broadcasting live to 7 different destinations across Facebook and YouTube. So hey, fellow mystery and thriller loving friends, no matter where you watching from, you're in the right place. This is the right time. It is Mystery Monday, and because Mondays can be murder, we're going to make them a little less painful for you and get your week off to a killer start. So if this is your first time with us, welcome, friends. We are so happy to have you here. Every Monday, I give you my handpicked featured authors, and you get to ask them anything. So get those comments going in the questions, and we're going to get them right over to Elise. Let's jump on in. Wendy, a.k.a. Catch a Clue, saying, hi, ladies. Hi, Wendy. Your cute little kitty. Renee says, hi, Sara and Elise from Southeast Florida. Hi, Renee. Look at those cute little pups. Erica joining us from YouTube says she's got some questions. We're looking forward to your questions. Renee saying congratulations on your debut novel. Erica says, yes, we are DiVello fans. Oh, Erica, you're so kind. Thank you so much. It's so great to see you here. Leacha's joining us from Texas saying, hello, ladies. Hi, Leacha. We have a mystery user saying, hi, Sara and Lise. I love a debut. Me too, friend. Me too. Let's get into some of these questions. Renee wants to know, Elise, how long were you a sports reporter and why did you decide to write a novel?
Hi, Renee. Nice to see you, meet you. So before I became a sports reporter, I was a news reporter, and I did that for a long time. And then I had the opportunity to cover the NBA lockout in like 1998, 1999, the years kind of, go you're and everything. So I became a sports reporter then for Fox Sports Network, and I did it for 3 years. But even though it was the shorter portion of my career in reporting, there was something about it that I just loved. It was, you win, you lose. It's like this great drama that's within a relatively safe zone versus a lot of tragedy that I had covered before then that really kind of took a toll on my heart. And so when I went back to write a book, I wanted to go back to the place of the sports world, which was so much fun. And then it took me like 10 years to get the book from the inception of starting to write the story to finding my amazing agent, Liza Fleisig, both our agents, and getting it published. So it took me a long time. It took me a long time, and rightly so. It wasn't ready. The first time I wrote the book, I wrote it like a reporter, so there was no suspense. I told you who, what, when, where, why. Like it was the most boring thing you could read. So it took me a while to get there.
And let's answer the second part of Renee's question too. Why did you want to write a book? What made you want to write that book?
Sorry.
No. This was
Yeah, that's a great question, and I really missed writing. I didn't even realize how much I loved writing until I stopped reporting, because as a reporter, you're writing your own copy. So it was usually just one page, but I did it. I did it myself, and then I guess my kids were about like 5 or 6, and I felt like something was missing. And nothing against you guys, because I know you're odd. It wasn't that. I loved being home, but I missed the creativity. And I missed the writing part. And it's so interesting because I went back and I found this diary from when I was, I think, like early 20s. And in it said, I wish I had more time to write. And I don't remember writing that. But I guess I always loved writing, and it was something I came back to and didn't even realize subconsciously that I had talked about to myself, decades earlier.
That's so interesting, because I think so many times we leave ourselves this trail of clues, and then we oftentimes don't even remember having those thoughts or whatever. Renee
Right.
saying, wow, yeah, I think we're all thinking about the secret diary that you unearthed. So you were digging through the attic and found it, or
I was digging through my mom's closet, my parents' closet, and I found it. And there was nothing else interesting in the diary. But I will tell you something. In my second book, Dangerous Play, which is a sequel to Kate Green, a diary plays a really important part in the book. So, hints.
and is that based on finding your own diary?
I think so. Like every time someone asks me a question and I think back to something that happened to me, I'm kind of like, oh, that's why I did it. And I wasn't conscious of it, when it happened, when I'm writing. Like, I'm not thinking, oh, I'm doing this because I had a diary, or I'm doing this because of, blah, 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 that happened. I really, like, it comes to me years later sometimes. I mean, does that happen to you? Like you're doing something and then it hits you like so far in the future. Oh, that's why I did that.
Oh, interesting. I don't know. I'm going to have to give that some thought. I'm going to have to go back to my own diaries, because I've been keeping diaries since I was 8 years old. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
I have a pact with my college roommate. Whoever dies first, the other one has to drive to their house and burn their diaries.
Oh, that's great. That's so funny. Oh, yours must be so much more interesting than mine.
Leisha says, this sounds so intriguing, doesn't it, Leisha? Renee saying, lights out sounds incredible.
Oh, thank
Totally
you.
agree. Lorraine, welcome to the conversation, saying, hello, all. Hi, Lorraine. Thanks for tuning in. Randy joining us from YouTube saying, hi from Indiana. Hi, Randy. Welcome to the conversation. Leisha has a question. She says, Elise, who has been your hardest character to write about and why? So let's start there. And then I want to get to the second juicy part of Leisha's question.
Um, oh, what a good question. That's the first time I've ever been asked that question. It definitely wasn't Kate that was my hardest character to write. It might be um, it might be the father. He's my favorite character in a way, but I think that finding the pieces to him was hard at the beginning, and it was one of those things where it started out being hard, and then I kind of, as I went, I was really leaning into it and enjoying it. And he is in the second book too, but I think carving him out as a character was the hardest one for me.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, so the father, very cool to know. Let's get into Leisha, the second part of Leisha's question, because I want to know this too. She wants to know, Elise, do your book characters talk to you? And if they do, have you ever had to change something in the story because of it? We all need to know, does Elise hear voices?
Oh, I hear voices and I see movies in my head. I have this conversation with my husband all the time about like visualization and what do you visualize and what don't you visualize. I literally see like a movie plot kind of going through my brain. Does that happen to you too? Like as I'm writing. So I need to be able to visualize it. And I know some people don't, but if I can't see it, then I can't write it. And then to the part of it about whether they kind of talk to me or anything like that. So this is my excuse for always taking naps. I'm like a big napper, and I'll be like, "Oh, I'm not really napping." And I can imagine my son Ryan right now being like, "Oh yeah, right, mom." Um, I'm thinking through my plot. I'm thinking about my characters. I need them to speak to me, and so when I kind of like let go of that very like conscious thought and that go into that like sleep area, the nap, actually a lot does come up. And, I always have my phone next to me to take notes and, oh yeah, Kate should do this, Kate should do that, Yvette should do this. And my characters do change because as I'm writing, they're evolving. So I do find that as I get into the middle part of the book, I'm going back and I'm saying, oh, this character is much more evolved. Maybe it's more that they become more clear, that the vision becomes more clear than that they change so much. They grow, I guess, would be what I say.
Ooh,
Does that make
thank
sense?
Yeah, thank you for that great question, Lecha, and thank you for that great answer, Elise. And it's so interesting because a former neighbor of mine used to teach creativity at Harvard Business School, and she said that the three times that studies show people have the most creative ideas is when they are falling asleep, in the
Ooh.
shower, and when they're driving, because it engages your lower brain, and then your creative brain can think of these creative ideas. So clearly, when you tell your son you're not napping, you're working on your novel, you really are.
Yes, Ryan, if you're listening.
Oh my goodness, I love it. Oh, our mystery user's revealing her identity. It is Melissa from Australia. Good day, mate. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning in. Renee says, this sounds so fascinating. It really does, right, Renee? I'm loving this conversation. Renee wants to know, have you always wanted to be an author? And she hastens to add a professional author.
Ooh, I appreciate that. No, I originally wanted to be, and I'm sorry if I keep reaching for my ear. This ear pod seems to be loose. I always wanted to be a reporter. Since I was in sixth grade, I wanted to be Edward R. Murrow. I wanted to, fight the fight and bring evil down and all of that. And I covered politics. I covered like I said, a lot of crime and trials and everything. And it wasn't in my brain to write. And then when I left sports reporting, I was saying I missed writing, but I will say now that I am a professional author, I love it so much more. So maybe that's either an evolution, or maybe it should have always been my goal, or I wouldn't have had any fodder, because I definitely write what I know in a lot of ways. Um, but I'm so happy to be this, and thank you for calling me professional. It took me a long time.
Elise, Renee wants to know, where were you a reporter? She wants to know.
Oh, sure. So before I worked at Fox Sports Network, I was a reporter at WNBC TV in New York. I worked at News 12 Long Island. I worked for the Associated Press, some stations in Albany and Rhode Island, where I went to school at Brown, and I started at the radio station there, which was amazing. So I really, right in college, they kind of propelled me forward with these amazing opportunities as a college student to cover the Iowa caucuses and the New Hampshire primaries and the Von Bulow trial. So yeah, just straight from there. A lot of different places.
Renee saying, wow, I know that is
Thank
so
you.
impressive. Big wow. Thank you for sharing. Um, Melissa from Australia would like to know, did you think of the title for this book? She loves it. Yeah. So sometimes, authors get to pick the title of their book. Sometimes, like me, I didn't, my editor gave me the title. Elise, what's the story of your title?
Um, I love the name of my title, and I can say that because I did not come up with it. So I think I had a title that had secrets and something like that. And Liza said, "Okay, whatever, that title's going to end up going, but we'll leave it for now." And it did. There were too many titles with that in it. And then Rob's my husband, kind of brainstormed on titles, and the idea was to have something that was sports related, but not a pun. It's not a cozy where you kind of are like, one of my titles originally, like years back, was A Deadly Shot. It wasn't like a pun type of book, but Lights Out could be a domestic thriller without you ever knowing that Lights Out is a sports term. But Lights Out is also a sports term. So if you know, you know, and it means that if you're playing lights out, you can't lose by making a basket. Like you're just like killing it. So it's just such a good title. And Rob came up with it. We basically sent my editor, Liz Pearsons, who's a sports fan and phenomenal. And I love a list of titles, and then she picked, and then it worked like that. So for book 2 with titles, I didn't even name it. I'm like, book 2. I know we're going to go through a lot of names. I'll call it book 2 now, but we did the same thing. We came up with a whole long list, and Dangerous Play is what the title will be for the second one, which I didn't
Ooh.
come up with. I don't remember who did. It wasn't me.
Thank you for sharing. And I did not know that lights out was a sports term, or that it meant playing all out. I'm thinking, being a little kid who never played any sports, who was a voracious reader, and my parents saying, lights out, go to bed. So
Right.
Yeah.
But that's what I loved about the title. It meant so many different things.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah.
Renee wanting to know, okay, so about this second book you just mentioned, did you write both books at the same time?
Oh, no. I did not. So I wrote Lights Out. We turned it in, and I was really lucky to get a 2-book deal, and Thomas and Mercer was interested in a series. So it took me 10 years, like I said, to kind of get Lights Out done. And then I've been pushing to get Dangerous Play done in a year. So it's a very different process. Yeah. And I'm working on my developmental edits now. I mean, we already have a date for that in September of 2024.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So from 10 years on the first book to 1 year on the second book, what's that been like?
Oh, I didn't leave the house all summer except to go to a couple of things. But like I'm thinking I did go to I was able to come and celebrate with you with your book, but like I really didn't leave the house. Which yeah, I tried to time it, and at the end I just was working like 24/7. I think that when you write your first novel, you're learning, right? Such a learning curve. So I feel like I got a PhD in some ways, without the degree. And I learned a lot about what was wrong with the process, I mean, what I did wrong, like the way to do it better. So I tried to incorporate all those lessons into the second book. So I really tried to figure out, I don't really outline, but I did need to know the ending and kind of a midpoint, although in my brain it's not really a midpoint, but like the clues and the red herrings, I'd say. And I already sort of knew what the secondary plots would be because they continue from the first book. And then uh, Megan Collins once gave the best advice, and I think she took it from she had credited another writer, and I don't remember it. But she said, you have to write every day, and it's okay to write badly. Give yourself permission to write badly. And the first draft, is like literally feels like I'm vomiting out words, like and just getting it on the page so then you can go back and edit it. So I mean, I got it done. Liza helped me a lot, but I got it done.
Well, that is, I love the analogy of getting a PhD, and learning so much over the course of those, 10 years, a decade of your life.
Yeah.
Renee saying, see, Sarah, there is hope for you. LOL. Exactly. 'Cause it took me 9 years to write this one. There is
Yeah.
hope for me, Renee. Maybe it will be another 10 years before this one, before the next,
Oh, you
before.
have to. I mean, you have to like, it's so good. We must have another one.
Oh my goodness, so many. Oh, Liza Fleisig joining us from YouTube saying No Lives Was
Yes,
Told. No Lives
that
Were
was it.
Told was the title. Oh, I love that title. That's so fun too. That is also a really great. That is also a really great title. Oh, Melissa has another question. She says, I think this is Melissa, maybe another mystery user. She said, I love your cover. Were you able to select it? So let's take a look at the cover. Tell us about the cover.
Okay, so I love my cover too. Thank you so much for saying that. I really had no ideas for the cover. When they ask you to, Thomas and Mercer, you fill out this form, like, what are your thoughts about covers? What do you like? And it was such a, I really didn't know because on the one hand, sports is an element of the book, and the basketball is there. But on the other hand, it really is a domestic thriller, and you don't want to be like, oh, this is a sports book, and miss the audience or give the wrong opinion or information on the book. So I didn't. They did the cover, but there's a funny story about it, and they did the cover and there was a different house on it, and Liza and I were like, we love it, just like add a little basketball hoop and we're good. And then we find out someone else had that house on their cover and they couldn't use the cover. So I was like, oh my God, no, no, no. And the second house that they picked was just like, I don't know, it just wasn't like good. It looked more like a church, not a house. I couldn't see Yvette and Kurt living there. But they were so nice then and gave us lots of houses to choose from. Like I think they sent us 15 houses. And like it had the house in the second the redo originally had a sidewalk, but North Street, where the murder takes place, like there's no sidewalks there, so it wasn't. Anyway, so we picked that house, and they put the ball on the lawn, which was so cool because originally it was like there was a basketball hoop sort of off on the side, and we like this so much better, but yeah, so we picked that house, and I actually like that house now better. And then the guy who had the house, it's Chad Zunker. I don't even think he knows that. He was nice enough to write a blurb for my book. I don't even think he knows that he had taken the house. So I all was forgiven.
Oh my gosh. Wow. 15 houses. That is so funny. Well, I'm
Yeah,
glad you got to pick your house.
I got to pick
Um,
my house.
so Legion had asked about the hardest character to write. You had shared it was the father. Renee wants to know, is the father based on your dad?
Oh no. No, no, no. That's funny. Well, yeah, my dad is like, um, he's just the furthest thing from a cop, so I'm laughing. Although I love this dad and I love my dad, so all's good there. Um, I think that this dad is somewhat based on a combination um, of maybe agents that I got to know as a reporter, some FBI agents, some police officers, and kind of smushed together because it's that kind of a profession. Um, and then she also has a stepfather who you don't see a lot of, but she was raised by her stepfather and her mom, who are in California. So she just connects with her biological father really on this case. So there's a lot of tension between them and a lot of angst.
Sorry, I was muted. Randy wants to know what was easier to write, the novel or the sports reporting?
I'm assuming you mean like when I was a sports reporter
I think
or
because you were saying you used to write your own copy.
oh,
So what was easier? Was writing this novel easier or was writing your copy easier for you?
everything had different challenges, and I should own up to something. So when I was a news reporter, I wrote everything. I was not an X's and O's person. So meaning like I was always a sports fan, but I wasn't like, I didn't know some of the details. So I did get help from some producers with the copy for sports. Um, and I there are different challenges. I mean, when you're reporting, you're turning things around in seconds. So a game would end. My job as a sports reporter was often pre-game interviews. So I'd go into the locker rooms and post-game interviews, and I would have to do things very quickly. And so there was a lot of adrenaline going, um, a- and that was exciting and challenging at the same time to do it so quickly. And writing the novel was more cathartic, was kind of more elements, I think, of less stress, I guess less stressful. Um, so it was different. I don't think one was easier than the other. Maybe I enjoyed writing the novel a little bit more.
Ooh, great question, Randy. Thank you for the answer, Elise. Trina, welcome to the conversation. She wants to know, do you ever work on more than one novel at a time?
Oh, I I'm trying to think about a potential third novel as I'm working on the second one. So my brain is thinking about it, but I'm not physically writing anything. That'll be a whole other challenge. Um, but I do feel like you get better as you study your PhD. Maybe I'll earn a second PhD or something. And you can juggle more. I mean, I know people who, fellow authors of ours who are literally writing two novels at the same time. I can't imagine that. Like, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Yeah, that to me, I don't think I could ever do
No, my brain hurts again thinking of that.
that.
Leach is
Right?
saying, thank you so much for answering her questions, Elise. She said, I
Oh,
love your answers. Oh, Licha, of
thank
course, that's
you.
what we're here for, so that you can chat with your author, chat here with authors. So that is what we are all about. Y'all, the book drops next week and you can
Woo!
pre-order it tonight. So the good folks at Murder by the Book will ship it out to you on the very first day that it drops. So here is that link. Whether you are watching from Facebook or YouTube, click and pre-order now so that you can get your mitts on Lights Out.
I like what you did there.
Thank you. Not bad for a girl who's never played sports. And you can read past Lights Out all night long. So grab that link, y'all. Click, 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 and pre-order. And then let us know what you think. Oh my goodness, we have so many questions, and we're going to get to all of them. So, Leisha wants to know: did you ever have a close call when you were a reporter?
Yes, I did. I was covering the the fires at News 12 Long Island. I think it was the Pine Barren fires. I was the first reporter on the scene, and it was on national news. It was a long time ago. I mean, it was in the late 90s, I believe. And if you're familiar with Long Island, I was on Sunrise Highway, which kind of goes towards the Hamptons, and it's 4 lanes. And I'm standing there and trying to explain because they didn't even have a camera there. We got there before there were any lives or anything like that. Meaning the live truck wasn't there, not that there wasn't live capability. And the fire crossed the highway, and I'm trying to explain the fire crossed the highway. And I remember the reporter Doug Geed, he's like, what do you mean the fire crossed the highway? What are you saying? I'm like, it crossed the highway. Like, it was so hard to explain. And then later in the evening, my cameraman and I got on the back of a fire truck and went in to kind of see what was going on. And the fireman, it says to us, because it all of a sudden 2 sides are blocked off and the fire comes across the third side. He's like, if it gets any closer, jump off and run. and
Oh
I
my
just like,
God.
I know, we couldn't believe it. And then he's like radioing, we need water here, we need water here. And they came in and, put down the side so we could get out. But like, it was a close call. Like the fire was coming in.
Oh
So
my
that was
God.
scary.
If the fire gets any closer, run. Yikes. Talking about words to remember. My
Yeah.
legs would be running already. Leisha, thanks for the great question. Elise, thanks for the great answer. Oh my gosh, I will be thinking about that. Okay, so your book features a basketball on the front cover. Renee wants to know, is basketball your favorite sport?
Great question. Basketball was the first sport I covered, and I covered it a lot. I covered the NBA lockout, and then I covered the games a lot. I covered the Knicks a lot. I covered a lot of playoffs. So it's the one I felt compelled to write first. I really enjoy basketball. I think my favorite sport is soccer. Both my kids, Ryan and Justin, played soccer. Ryan plays for Columbia now. And so I truly am a soccer mom, with both of them driving all the time. So I would say soccer is my favorite, but basketball is up there as one of my favorites.
Oh, wow. Great question, Renee. Melissa saying, good on your husband for naming the book. Yeah, I think we should go Rob for naming the book, because it was always so, I mean, that is such a great pun. And like you said,
Not a fun.
not cozy.
Well, so
So
since she brought up my husband, can I give him a little bit of a shout out?
let's do the shout outs.
Shout out to my husband. He has been amazing to the point where he got a temporary tattoo of Kate Green and Lights Out on his arm. So he has been very supportive. And he didn't just do that, I think, because the title was his idea. I think he was just
No,
supporting.
Elise. really supportive would be getting a permanent tattoo. This is just
Well,
a little supportive.
yeah. I mean,
Oh
we'll
my God,
see
but
with book two.
what if like Patricia Cornwell, you write 36 Marquetta books, and then he just has
Right.
36
Everyone
tattoos.
going down. I
Oh
know.
my
I
God, he's just running
know.
out of skin. He better go for small tattoos in case you have write a lot.
Right.
Ooh, someone saying I love the name Dangerous Play as a title too. Yeah, is Rob coming up with that title? Is this tell us
I
that.
don't remember who came up with Dangerous Play, but Dangerous Play is a soccer term also. It's it's when you're kind of taking a chance by doing something or going forward or being aggressive, and the ball can get stolen away from you. So it's a dangerous play that could put your team in trouble, but it also could be really good because you're taking a chance and it could prove to work. So, and the second book is soccer related, so that's why that's there. It takes place at the Olympics, which I'm placing in New York City. So there's soccer, and you get into her backstory because she's a former soccer player, and all the worlds kind of come together in that one.
I'm sorry, I'm still thinking about the tattoo. Still thinking about the tattoo because my husband did not get a temporary tattoo, and now I feel like we're gonna have to have a fight. Because
Well, yeah, I think
oh
maybe
my
they'll
God,
get matching
my
tattoos at some
husband
point.
is watching. He says
Ah!
joining us on YouTube says he appreciates the love. Well, Rob, we're gonna need to see the temporary tattoo. At least post it on your social media tomorrow. Lecha saying, awesome job, Elise Hart Kipness's husband. Great job,
Mr. Hart Kipness.
Mr. Elise. Great. Yes, exactly. A shout out for the hubs here. Yeah, exactly. We're going to need to see the tattoo. Melissa saying she has a thing about titles. Absolutely. Totally. I have a thing about titles too. I mean, it's a short representation of the book. So it's, it's so great to, when you find a title that just lights you up inside,
Right.
and it just feels so right. So that's really, it's great to see everyone connecting with the title in the comments. It's, I'm loving it's so cool to see that it resonates, is I guess what I'm trying to say. Renee wants to know, how will you celebrate your pub day? Great question.
Yay. Yeah, so I'm going to be at Mysterious Bookshop in New York City. So if any of you guys out there are in the area, come, please. And that's November 1st at 6. And then the second day, I'm having a pub release in Connecticut at Athena Bookstore in Greenwich, Connecticut, because my book takes place in Greenwich and New York City. So one bookstore in each place. And I'm really excited. My friends are throwing a little party, so that'll be fun. And and I'm going to be around the New England area. So if anyone is in those areas, it's on my Instagram, the schedule. So I would love to see you guys if it's possible.
Yay. And of course, no matter where you are, you can pre-order tonight. And the good folks at Murder by the Book, our favorite woman-owned independent bookstore, will send the book as soon as it drops next week. So everybody grab your copy. Grab your pre-order now to grab your copy. Leach is saying, such a nice cover. I love it. I know we're all still thinking about the cover. Trina saying, she buys a lot of books based on the cover. Trina, me too. She said yours is very intriguing and attention getting. Melissa says she is not the mystery user. So we have a second mystery user amongst us. Very on brand. Very good for mystery and thriller mavens here. Staying very mysterious. I love it. Yes. Thank you. Trina saying, thank you for that great answer. Renee saying, happy early pub day.
Thank
Wendy
you.
in the conversation says, congratulations, Elise. Thanks, Sarah. Oh, Wendy, always a pleasure to see you. Oh, Renee wants to know, are the books signed? So they are not signed, but Elise, I bet if someone DMs you their receipt, you could send a signed bookmark out.
Oh, absolutely. If you DM me, I will get you a signed book. No problem. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So great. So send your
Right.
receipt
Yeah.
for Murder by the Book, and Elise will send you a signed book plate or signed
A book
bookmark.
plate. Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I have
that would
book
be
plates. I have like book plates that match the background of the cover. They were like really cool. So if you like book covers, like the book cover, you'll like the book plate, and I'll send you a bookmark with it.
Oh, perfect. Leach is saying congratulations on your new release, Elise Hart
Thank
Kipness. Yes,
you.
congratulations. Y'all, we are out of time. Time flies when you're having fun. I have dropped all of Elise's incredible blurbs in the comments so you can read them at
Oh,
your
thank you.
leisure. Everyone from Wendy Walker to Jon Land weighing in with their words of praise on the book. Leach is saying thank you for answering her question. And wow, what a close call with the fire. I know I'm still thinking about the fire too. Renee say, way to go, Rob. I know Rob's getting all the love here.
Woohoo,
I know we need to see that tattoo. Thanks for all the hearts up and thumbs up. Renee saying, thank you so much for being with us tonight. At least she will definitely pre-order.
Oh, thank you.
Hashtag team pre-order. A pre-order is a gift you give your future self. Someone said that on Instagram, and I absolutely
I
love
love
that.
that. Yeah.
Trina says a signed bookmark will be great. Thank you. Renee saying the signed bookmark sounds wonderful. Thank you for joining us, Renee. So great to have you here. Leisha saying she really enjoyed this chat. Thank you so much. Have a good week and a good night and a great week. What a perfect note to sign off on. Thank you all for joining us for this special pre-launch Q&A about Lights Out. Elise Hart Kipness, thank you so much. Happy early pub day. And y'all, I'll be back at the top of the hour with Rebecca Hadnover. Get yourself a snack and a drink. I will see you then.